Welcome everybody to Loco. I am going to give you a little breakdown of how to get started. As you can see, I've already done a good little bit to this, but let's jump right into it, shall we? Alright, so down on the bottom in the middle of the screen you will see build keys. Each button has a different section of stuff you can build with, and we are going to start with track laying. So for in, this brings up your switches here. The scroll wheel on the mouse is what zooms camera in and out. If you press T, it cycles through the different objects in this category. And whenever you have like a switch selected, if you press the up arrow key, it will actually change the point at which it snaps. So whenever you go to place it on something, like say you already got one down and you want to place another one, see it's snapping that way. Press up on the arrow and it'll change its position, and again. And then on the other side of the screen there you can see the other functions that we got. You can give it a tilt, give it a rotate, which it can't rotate it too awful much, it will snap itself back for the most part. And say you add something that you don't really want, you just walk up to one of the points where it has a little blue arrow and press the delete key. Be careful doing that though, because it can be a little bit iffy on which one it selects, as you have like these little nodes. If you're looking here, it'll delete here. If you're looking there, it'll delete on that side of it. So be careful with it. From here, I'm going to do a little bit of normal rail, which is B. As long as you are looking at that little blue arrow, it will always snap to that point. And these little red dots are floaters. If you press auto level, wherever those little red dots will touch, it will auto fix itself to that position. So it keeps your track nice and level. The 1 and 2 key expands out those nodes, which also changes on how much the rail is factored by it. Because if I am here, you can see how stiff that'll make that curve, and if I drop it, you can see it's much less pronounced. So you can use that tool to help you kind of even out your track. Q and E is how you rotate it, which is how you can do your curves. And again, those dots influence it, so wherever you're at with it influences the track, and what you see before you place is what will be placed down. So like if I place here, it will stay like that. You can back it up. If you place one down and you don't really like that desired outcome, it will back up one section if you press on the right click, and then if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, that little flash you've seen where the HUD kind of refreshed itself is saying you have started a new spline. If you notice, there's another blue arrow here. So if I stop building, it won't go back. You can stop with right click or enter. So this right here is a 4-piece. So there was one spot right here where I placed the track, and one here. As you notice, there's no blue arrow, so that means we cannot just delete this one section because we have completely went through that building phase. So we'll just come here and we'll press delete on this blue arrow, which will get rid of that entire section. Now if you are building, and let's say you just want to build 2 sections, so you go 1 and 2. Now see, it still has it to where you have it there, and if you press back, it gets rid of that one. So what you're going to do is you're going to come to the end of that section, and then you're going to press the numpad enter, which finishes the building process. So now you have a 2-piece segment. If you delete, you only delete those 2 pieces. So they run in 4-piece splines, and there are 4 segments in each spline and splines will automatically reset themselves. So say we're just running along and building a bunch of track, it will just always refresh itself. You never have to leave this. Now with our rail, you can, let me unlock the auto level. If you hold 3, that will actually rotate upward, but you have to be careful because, like I said, where you see the rail is where it will place. I don't really suggest using this. The auto level tool is very, very, very good. It almost never messes up. Whenever it comes to what you can do with this rail, though, is quite various. Like, as you can see here, we're putting a lean to it, and if we was to continue this, it would hold this lean throughout the entire thing. And you can use this function to make some pretty interesting track work. Give me a second here. Sometimes you gotta change the position of your camera just to see what all exactly you're wanting. So we're gonna auto level that back down. As you can see there, if I have it in to where it's not auto leveling, and I put those balls in very weird positions and then press L again to auto level, it will slowly level itself back out. And then with the rotations, you can do basically anything you want. The limit is your imagination with this system here. There are some times that the hitbox of the rail will change if you go a little bit too far. Notice how the rail is staying straight, but your curve is leaning, which can, if you go too far, can cause an issue with your cars sliding off of the rail. But I mean, there's not really much need to go much further than that with an embankment. Alright, so now with the placeable objects, we have your switches. These are re-railers. If you do wind up coming off of the rail, you can just place one of these down and then use B to just bring your rail back over to wherever you're at. And as long as a train car can ride in between the rails, you will always be able to re-rail it. Like, it'll climb over top of this rail here because it is down below these rails, and then you would be able to just ride the train back up on the rails, which we also have cranes, so don't worry about derailing too much. There is ways to re-rail them. And then we also have your rail stops. We have 2 variations right now, so whichever one you prefer. And we have the turntable, and these right here. This is how you work it. You just press your button. It will continuously move in this direction until you hit the red stop button, which it stops pretty quick. And there are also build nodes, so you can just press B on here and run your track straight off to whatever you want to do. So that is pretty much about it for this part of track building. There are a few other things. We have the railroad crossing. I highly suggest this if in case you want to drive cars around a lot, which we do have. But these right here are highly recommended for anything other than the Ural. Now if we go to the G menu, this brings up placeable objects such as signs with various different speed limits. The garage building, which is a pass-through building that has enough height on it to where every single one of the locomotives and cars will go through without clipping. And then we have the storage awnings, and all these objects are movable just like all the rails. You can tilt forward and back, and you can also rotate. Alright, and then we got the barrier, railroad crossing signs. These currently don't flash or anything, they're just the basis of it. And then we also have bridges. We have the small, medium, large, and then we have drawbridge, small, medium, and large, as well as we have at least I think we still have it, or is this it? Actually, I think this one is the rotating bridge. Yes, this is the rotating bridge. These other drawbridges are center lifts. We do have a couple places where we will be running boats and stuff to do cargoes, so these right here will be necessary if you're down too close to the water, as well as this one here, which it just pivots on a center axis, so you can do pretty much whatever you want to do with these. They do not have clipping to them. You can drive on the top of them. That is the only part that an object will actually contact. And then again, to delete, you just look at the object you want to delete and then press delete. Okay, gotta find a place on the hitbox. Okay, well, those ones will delete. What about here? Where? Huh. Wow, this is new. Never had an issue deleting them before. Well, I guess those are there now. Alright, on with the building. If you need to build a bridge anywhere that and you don't want to use one of these, then you can press H, and this will always snap directly in front of you, facing the direction you're facing. And we currently don't actually have a way to rotate it. We can do this with it, but let's say you got a long one, it's going to move the whole thing. So these bridges need a little bit of work on, but we haven't really figured out if we're going to keep these or just run sectional bridges like that. Something for the future. But these ones here, as you can see with the jump over there, these can be used and made at just about any height. They can also be rotated as well, and then for the length, you can go practically no limit with the length, and you lengthen them out with 1 and 2. Pretty much all of our tools will have the description on the side of how to work it, so it is fairly simple to do. But yeah, it goes quite a long ways. And then just walk up to it, press delete. Alright, so that gives the basis of all that. I hope this is helpful, and you guys have a good time in Loco. We hope you enjoy it.